What is up, guys? It is the Project Photography back in another video, and today we have an amazing video for you guys, something that I was really excited to be doing on this trip. This is pretty much going to be a POV Hawaii landscape photography video, pure landscape photography from a POV first person point of view with my GoPro on top of my Nikon Z6. And I am here in this incredible island of Oahu in Hawaii to visit some family, eat some good food, play golf, and most of all, shoot some incredible landscape photography. Now, this is one of my most favorite places to come shoot landscape photos. Everything from the lighting to the scenery to the mountains to the beaches, everything is incredible about this beautiful island. The sunsets, sunrise are just unreal, something that you can't find anywhere else in the world. And some of my best photos, like I said, have been taken here on this very island. You know, some of the photos that a lot of people have purchased prints from and just admired and awe. Some of my favorite photos here. And in this video, like I said, pure landscape photography. No of the excess stuff. We're not going to be doing any B-roll, no vlogging, none of that. Just pure POV landscape photography, and I'm really excited to share with you guys the photos that I take on this trip. It's gonna be a good ride. I'm really excited for this, and yeah, let's get right into the video. What's up, y'all? We are now behind the scenes, behind the camera. Welcome to Hawaii, and in this video, let's talk about and do some amazing Hawaii landscape photography. And right here on this trip, or this hike actually, we are going up the side of a mountain, and we are looking at Molokai and Maui in the background. And these are photos that aren't necessarily going to be, you know, photos that I'm going to be editing and stuff, but these are photos I kind of want to see what the feeling is, what it looks like, and what we can kind of get in this perspective. So right here, yeah, like I said, that is Maui and Molokai in the background. We are pretty high up, and it's pretty early in the morning, so that we don't really get too much interference with other things. So that's pretty cool. Nothing that I'd really want to edit, and I try to actually edit that photo and see what it looked like. But the shadows just are so out that just you can't get it back pretty much. Same thing with this photo right here. Just kind of want to see what's good, what those looks look like. And here I'm shooting at 14mm versus 30 on the previous one, just to kind of see what the perspective is like. Obviously can't edit it. It's just not an editable file, just way too much in the shadows, so too hard. Let's keep on moving up. So we're going up to the main part of the actual hike, where you can see a lot of the Waimanalo side, and it's absolutely beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. We have the sun actually in the back. So right here, we're going to get a lot of different light, a lot of different looks, versus if the sun was kind of in the front here. So sunrise or sunset is actually a very important distinction, because, right, like we said, the sun's giving us different perspectives, different looks in the lighting and so on. So right here, we're taking a shot, seeing how that looks pretty early in the morning. And I actually like this composition a lot. I think it does a lot for the features of Hawaii that I really like. You get to see the expanded shoreline. You get to see like the best of both worlds, with the mountains on the left and the water on the right. And that's kind of a theme that we're going for a lot in this actual shoot. Really want to showcase what the landscape has to offer, what the beauty of it has. And right here, we're going to vertical orientation, just to kind of get a different perspective. And the reason why I think vertical orientation really works is because when actually looking at the photo, a lot of the elements actually move in a more vertical orientation, and you kind of want to match the format that you're shooting in to kind of showcase that, be more of those leading lines to the actual top of the frame. It just gives it more space, more depth, in order to create those different balances and feels. So this next photo here that I take is when we're going to be editing. And what I did here was I actually did a focus stack. So the first photo I focused in the background, this one I focused on the foreground. We're doing stacking those in post. We get a nice even focus photo throughout the entire frame. I think this does a good job because, right, we're able to get those foreground elements in there. Not feel like we have to compromise much. We can actually get a lot of the elements in focus we want. So when we actually print the photo, it's nice and sharp all the way around. Nice, subtle, clean edit look here. Not trying to go for too much, just trying to get a nice balanced looking image. So what we're doing here is going back to the horizontal orientation, picking up and going. There's a lot of different parts of this landscape, and especially when you're on a time crunch like this, right? When we're shooting landscape photography, we really only have about 30 minutes to actually shoot the photos that we want. So we're looking at a different look here. I see this kind of island, kind of the middle of the ocean right here. Kind of want to use that as its own perspective. I think it's a nice look. So we're going to show you this thing in vertical orientation, throwing on an ND filter to see how that looks. And what we're doing here is actually doing another focus stack, focusing on the background, foreground, and the midground, and stacking those in post. just so you can see what the kind of looks like. So taking the first photo here, that's kind of what that looks like. Very interesting looking photo. I don't really care for this composition, to be quite honest. I feel like there's not enough in the background to actually, you know, warrant a nice subject matter. I mean, I just feel like there's not enough. So going to go ahead and move over here. I actually really like the foreground element in that photo. I think it had a great leading sort of feel to get to the actual background, but I just felt there's no background subject in particular that worked. So right here, take another perspective, different look. I take kind of a similar photo to the previous one, but what I'm trying to do here is move back, see what the different types of elements we can gather in. And I actually really like this photo a lot. I think it does a lot of the same, like I said, in the other landscape that I really like. So keep on moving on here, and you know, we're gonna take another photo, but except we're gonna be moving the actual composition a little bit more down, just to see how that would do, how that would look in terms of getting the actual composition moving up into the frame. I feel like there's a lot of the actual photos to be working with here, a lot of different dynamics and elements here. So moving the camera down actually gives us a little bit of a different perspective. So like I said, we only have 30 minutes, so I'll be going and picking up, moving to the other side of the sort of hike that I really liked. And right here, it's gonna be kind of a different look because now we're gonna be shooting much more into the sun, so it's gonna be a little bit harsher light, and the sun is coming up here, like we kind of see here. So the light is not gonna be nearly as soft, but we're gonna try to get the compositions that we want. And I think a big part of this composition is definitely having that sun element in the background. So what we're doing here is setting up shop, and it's really hard because there's just so many people on this actual hike. So what we're doing here is setting up shop here. And you know, a lot of these photos are definitely gonna be HDR, but just to get a quick look at how the photo looks, that's how it looks. It's kind of composition I'm going for. You know, the sun in the background and this kind of mountain structure in the background, and this kind of path, this hiking path leading up to the mountain structure in the background is going to be doing a lot of work for us. So we go ahead and throwing on an ND filter just to kind of see how that would affect the actual photo, and kind of smooth out the water in the background just a little bit. Throwing on a nice 3-stop ND filter, nothing too crazy. So I kind of take a look at the ND filter, feel like it's not actually going to be working out too well. We're sticking with the normal process, and we're throwing this thing in vertical orientation. And we're going to be shooting here is something called an HDR. So what it's going to allow us to do is shoot multiple exposures in order to get, you know, an even exposure throughout the frame. We're going to combine that in post and get as much dynamic range as possible. And the vertical orientation is actually a very interesting, you know, approach here, just because we have this, you know, sort of leading line with the actual hiking path, which leads us to look at the sun and the actual mountain in the background. So I think it actually does work, but for me personally, I think the horizontal orientation works a little bit more. So like I said, throwing this thing in a horizontal orientation, and we're getting a different look, different perspective. And I feel like a lot of these landscapes definitely move side to side, even though some of these elements are definitely more of a horizontal orientation. So right here, like I said, doing the same thing with the HDR, doing the 5 different exposures, combine that post, and we're doing a little bit of it here. And I actually like this photo just because I think the colors are much more vibrant, much more expressive than I feel like there was in previous sort of photos. And a big reason why I like this photo a lot is just because I feel like we're getting those different colors, different looks, different feel with the sun actually coming on the background. It definitely feels like a morning photo compared to the other photos. I feel like I really like this photo a lot. I think it does a lot with the composition. But yeah, that's just how photography is sometimes. And I actually took a few other photos that I was not able to record, and for some reason just did not show up. So this was one of them, and this is kind of a composition we saw before, but this one in particular was my favorite. So we go ahead and editing that, trying to get more of those nice colors to kind of pop out, getting that contrast look back in there. I think this photo is really good. It's one of my favorites of the trip. So we actually pick up and move to a different location. Now this is very much, you know, into the morning. We're not really getting the proper light we want, but I just kind of want to see what these compositions would look like, what these different feels would feel like. And right here, we're just taking a simple composition, nothing too crazy, wide angle stuff. And then, you know, I kind of noticed that flare is a little bit an issue. I'd never bring lenses with me on these actual hikes just because there's no point, especially with an ND filter. So yeah, we're covering the sun a little bit, doing a little bit of a different look when it comes to that. So we're going to shoot vertical orientation just to kind of see what those different looks are. I definitely don't think it works. I think horizontal is definitely more the appropriate manner here. And this flex photo that we're taking is the one that we're using for the actual edit. So right here on this next photo, I wasn't able to really record because at that time we were just going back, but this is the next photo, and this is one that I edit Nothing too crazy. I don't think this is that amazing a photo, but reason I like this photo more than the other ones is to kind of step back, get those kind of rocks in the foreground, and give it a little bit more perspective. And I think it does a lot for the dynamic feel of the photo. So we are changing locations here. We're going to Waimanalo Beach, and I actually like this beach a lot. I've taken a lot of great photos here. This is my first time back in quite a while, so let's see what we can get here. And this is one thing that I really want to illustrate about Hawaii in particular, is that if you look at the light here, this is midday, and we're getting incredible soft light. And this is one thing you have to recognize when actually shooting in different places, that the light you're going to be getting versus different times of the day is going to be very, very different. Hawaii is one of the only places I'm very comfortable shooting midday and actually getting incredible photos. And you're going to be seeing right here with these first exposure. I really like this exposure a lot, actually, as you can see right here. Only problem is that there's people, so in the edited version, go ahead and remove them out. And I love this lighting right here, guys. Like, this is midday. We can see the lighting is very soft, very nice. We have those clouds in the upper part of the actual photo, you know, kind of blocking out the sun, kind of acting like a little bit of a diffuser. And we get that nice blue water, and I think this composition just works so well. It's beautiful. Get the nice curvature. This is really a Hawaii composition right here, and I just really love it. Love the lighting here, love the colors. So go ahead, moving on. And you know, they're really, actually, I don't edit any of the photos past here because I'm doing all this different movement for one photo. But what we're doing actually is moving up in the actual, you know, beach, just to see what the different perspectives we can get. You know, even if you're just really aiming for one really good photo, we can see what the different perspectives and looks are, because in a landscape, right, we want to be able to capture as much as possible, but at the same time get a perfect composition. And I think you're doing this right here with this photo. You know, this isn't something that we're going to save in all the photos for, but if we can get one perfect photo for our portfolio, then that's really the goal here. And like I said, we're looking for different compositions, different feels, seeing what moving up and down the beach does for our landscape photography. Does it improve the composition? Does it make it worse? Can we add different elements in here that we weren't able to add before? And I think this is a huge aspect of landscape photography. You know, you want to be able to get different looks and perspectives. At the end of the day, create amazing photos that you are absolutely proud of. So right here, I am actually going to be getting some of these rocks in the foreground just to kind of see what the different look would be like. And I think, you know, it's very interesting. Right here, we're going to get a 10 soft filter in. So you're going to be seeing a lot of those kind of color casting vignetting. It's a little bit strong. It's not too crazy because we are shooting midday, but it is definitely something that's very prominent. So again, moving a bit closer, trying to get those rocks a little more in the foreground. I personally don't think it works. I don't think it's as clean as I'd want it to be. But, you know, you want to just try different things and see what works. Moving back here a bit in the actual beach, and I'll be shooting another composition just to see how it looks, how it feels. So another shot right here. And, you know, it's kind of similar to our previous photos. I don't really care for these kind of trees on the left-hand side. I don't think it's clean enough. I also don't really care for those telephone poles. Because it's a landscape photo, we want to keep it as nature as possible. So here are some other photos that I actually shot on the trip, and these weren't photos I was able to really film just because, you know, you're kind of out there, you don't really necessarily want to film everything. So these are some photos that I got that were not shown in the video. Now these are on the other side of the North Shore. This lighting is a little bit harsher, but I think you definitely get the feel of what Hawaii is supposed to feel like. And this is with my telephoto lens right here. I wasn't actually filming me shooting my telephoto stuff. I just deleted the footage. I didn't have the footage of me actually shooting my telephoto stuff, so that's a little bit of a bummer. That's okay though. Here's one of the photos I took with my telephoto, really isolating that mountain in the background. I think it's a very interesting photo here because you get that mountain in the actual background, but you get more mountains even further in the background. And these are the two photos I really loved on this trip. This one right here and this one. These are amazing photos. They're my favorite. And these are stuff that I'm definitely putting in my portfolio. I think it works really well. So yeah, guys, that is it for me and my landscape photography. This was a really incredible trip. I think I got some great photos. And you know what? If I can get some great photos while I'm out on vacation, you know, I really can't be complaining. I definitely want to do more of these shoots in the future while I'm actually out traveling to different places, getting different looks, different landscape photography. So yeah, guys, that is pretty much it for the video. Thank you for experiencing the world with me. If you enjoyed this video, please rate, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one.